Right now, more and more, we're going to telehealth options to talk to and work with our clients online. My name is Troy Faddis, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist in private practice in Utah. I also an owner operator of residential treatment centers for young adults here in Utah. Even the American Psychological Association has been advising that psychologists and mental health counselors are all preparing their practices for the COVID-19 virus by exploring telepsychology options and telepsychiatry options. The American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy have been talking to us also about how to move our practices to doing telehealth. In a lot of places, telehealth is now about the only options that we have, especially in some of those areas like California, Washington State, New York, and Florida, Massachusetts. So I thought I'd do a video sharing with all of you some of the things that I have learned over the last 20 years. I've done some type of at a distance work with people around the country and here in Utah. And there's some things I think can help us be a lot more successful. Now, for the most part, we as therapists are really trying to use HIPAA-compliant video conferencing platforms, and there's plenty of them out there. But because they are getting overwhelmed and they may not have access for everybody, right now we have a new report that we can use closed systems that aren't necessarily HIPAA-compliant, but that'll be temporary. Things like FaceTime and Skype, and even Facebook Messenger. Open source programs like Snapchat and TikTok still are not appropriate for doing therapy, but we're more and more having options to do telehealth with you all. And, there's a lot of research that show that telehealth can actually be really effective. It's convenient for people, especially during this time where we were having to have some social distancing from one another. But outcome studies, even beyond that, are showing that it can be more effective because instead of meeting in someone else's office, you're in your own space where you feel most comfortable, where you'll be less defensive, you're more open. And for those who are accustomed to doing online work, we find that people can actually be really receptive, that this can be very effective feedback and experiences with someone interpersonally. That is part of what we want to have when we're doing therapy with people. But some things to consider. One is that I don't know what's on your end. And so I ask that when you're doing telehealth, that you do everything you can to make sure whatever room you're in, that is private, the door is closed, that you don't know who could be or who might overhear you, that who might be coming in and out, and take all the precautions you can to make your space as private as possible. If it's just one person in the session, they recommend that you use wired headphones so that there's ensuring even more privacy. It's really important that we get a chance to really see each other, to try to really make a connection. So having light in front of you, here I'm using natural light from a window coming from outside, but if you don't have that, putting a light in front of you, really making sure that you don't have a light or a window behind you. Any light behind you is going to create a shadow and make it hard for me to see your face. And I really wanted to connect with you. Also, so we have the best connection possible. One of the hardest things is connectivity, is to close out all other tabs. They sometimes take you even a little bit of bandwidth. So closing out all your tabs, if you can, hardwire whatever you're using right to your router. So we also have the fastest connection possible. And then also, in most cases, our cameras are right at the top of our screens on a laptop. And so being able to look at, the camera from time to time so that we're making eye contact, that we can really actually just see each other and talk to each other. I want us to be an experiential thing where we are really connecting, and we feel like we can talk. Also, because we see this, we don't necessarily pick up on every cue. You may find that your therapist is asking you more questions about what they can't see. For example, saying, if I was in the room right now with you, what might I see that I can't see right now? what's happening with your hands. Tell me more about what's going on for your body, so that we can see like your breathing, your jitters, tightness, exhaling. So we're more aware of what's going on. Um, and just to sort of show you a little bit about how this works, I have a couple of programs that I like to use. For my private practice, I use a lot of Doxy. And then for my residential treatment center, I use Google Meet with Google G Suite. It's HIPAA compliant. There's also most people who are using it have what's called a business associates account, and that allows them to have both the technological security and also the protocols on both ends to keep it as secure as possible. So to show you what I have here with this, with Doxy, when I'm using it, people will log into my little portal. It'll pull up the screen that you see here so I can see a picture of who it is. You enter in your name, and once you enter into your name, you can go ahead and just check in. And once you've checked in, it will wait for me to then start the session, and we'll be able to connect to each other. And this is mostly how it works. Um, Again, I find telehealth to be really effective, and it allows us to continue the process that we've been working on together. I think it's really important that we keep momentum going. We're checking in more, especially during times like this, to see how this is impacting the reasons why you came to therapy in the first place, and make sure that we're helping you cope with all the stressors, the anxieties that are going on in your life at a time like this. I look forward to working with you, meeting with you, and connecting with you. Thank you very much.